Mrs. President, that you have the time for making the interview with us. Thank you. It is the first time that the summit for Western Balkan countries is held in a Western Balkan country. How satisfied you are with the conclusions of this summit?
Faleminderit juve. Thank you, of course, for the opportunity to speak about the importance of the summit. It is quite historic that the European Union has decided that the location is within the Western Balkans, Tirana in this case, because we strongly believe that through this choice, they want to send a clear message to the countries of the Western Balkans that they are ready for us. Obviously, that means that we should be ready for the European Union as well, and there is concrete and clear homework that each and every country must carry out based on a merit-based process. As you know, Kosovo right now is at a 100% alignment with every single EU foreign and security policy decision. We're very proud of that. But at the same time, after we send our application for membership, which shall happen during this month, we are very much aware about the complexity of the membership process as well as the reforms that we need to undertake. But we're absolutely ready, and there's nothing that can take us away from this path. When it comes to the conclusions, I think generally speaking, these are extremely important conclusions because they speak of a clear membership perspective for the countries of the Western Balkans. They don't just talk about European perspective, but they talk about a membership perspective.
Let's talk about this topic a bit more clearly. The Western Balkan countries have the possibility to join the European Union since Thessaloniki 2003. It takes a lot of time. What makes you so sure about it that at the end of the day, it's not only like nice words? We saw it like in the last 10 years with all these Western Balkan summits, and especially like also with the Kosovo question, like with recognition. Some countries in Europe are not recognizing Kosovo at the moment, for example, Spain, Romania, and so on. What makes you so sure about it that it's not only nice words and it takes then again like 10 years, 15 years?
In fact, at the arrival today at the summit of Tirana, I said that it's about time for Europe, for the European Union to move from words to deeds. We've had enough of nice words since almost 20 years since the Thessaloniki summit. It's about time that we see concrete action, and today's declaration talks about concrete support towards the Western Balkans, but also concrete actions that we as countries of the Western Balkans need to undertake. But I think that no matter how hard the process, no matter how complex, and no matter how long, that should not kill the enthusiasm, but most importantly, that should not kill what we consider to be our clear vision for Euro-Atlantic institutions. In Kosovo, over 93% of the citizens are in favor of joining the European Union as well as NATO. So this is the vision of our people as well as of our institutions, and no matter how hard it is, we will not let anyone, through creating disappointments, creating deviations from this path.
This is a nice and interesting thing you're talking about. Let me take this a bit and make it concrete. Today it was also like presented that the Western Balkan countries are also self-confident, and you're talking now about Kosovo, for example, with its population which want to join the European Union, which clear messages. But there are, for example, not solved problems with Serbia, the recognition of both countries. It's like a process since 2008, since like Kosovo got into its independence. What are the next steps? How you will ensure that Kosovo is going its path if you're talking now about your country?
Well, if this depended on Kosovo, it would have been solved back in 2008 with Serbia recognizing Kosovo as an independent and sovereign country. What we need to understand once and for all is that Kosovo's sovereignty and independence are irreversible. This is an irreversible reality, and the sooner that Serbia accepts it, the better for itself, the better for our region, as well as peace and stability in the entire European continent. Unfortunately, they have chosen to continue the same logic that belongs to the past, but we will continue pushing forward for a final agreement that is based on mutual recognition between Kosovo and Serbia, and that also protects Kosovo's sovereignty, territorial integrity, and its constitutional system. These are the basic preconditions if we want success and if we want long-term peace and stability, but never do we expect that this can be solved easily? Because, as I said, it doesn't only depend on us, and it takes two to tango for any success in these kind of bilateral issues.
Last question, because it was also like a summit where the European countries and also the Western Balkan countries wanted to condemn the war in Ukraine. At every time you're sending also those messages, but there's, for example, also like the big elephant in the room when we're talking about Serbia. So what is the clear message which this summit can send? How unified is the European Union, are the Western Balkans concerning to this issue?
I think not just the summit, but generally speaking, the European Union should give clear messages to countries that if they align with EU sanctions, then of course the EU will deliver towards those countries. If they don't align, then they shouldn't expect any support from the EU institutions. What we've seen so far is sort of the opposite, quite a lot of appeasement towards Serbia, although they have not adopted sanctions against Russia. They have signed deals with Gazprom, they have signed agreements with Lavrov to align their foreign policy with Russia, and they have been helping Russia instead of course, sanctioning.
Is pressure needed?
Yes, absolutely, because appeasement of autocrats has never led to long-lasting peace. Appeasement of autocrats has always, historically speaking, has always led to more destruction and more war. So Vučić and Serbia need not just clear language, but also clear action. If they continue this way, the European Union, I believe, should suspend further talks with Serbia.
Last short question, what is the message of this summit?
That there's no time for divisions. We are all on the same team and we should all play on the same side, and that standing on the right side of history should matter.
Mrs. Osmani, thank you for the interview. Thank you, Mrs. President.